Sometimes doing the right thing costs you everything. Irving Collins stands in his apartment doorway, holding 3 pages he never expected to see. Eviction notice. 5 days to leave. No explanation that makes sense. Outside, Chicago's February wind cuts through Bronzeville at -18 degrees. The kind of cold that doesn't forgive. 2 weeks ago, he woke at dawn and smelled something wrong. Carbon monoxide. Levels high enough to kill. He knocked on his neighbor's door, got 3 children out before the poison took them, called 911, saved lives. 11 days later, his landlord wants him gone. His wife Imani stands behind him, 61 years old, hands trembling. Not from the cold. Their granddaughter Amara sleeps in the next room, 4 years old. The landlord thinks this ends with an old couple packing boxes in silence, that no one will fight back. But he never asked about their son, never thought to wonder what he does for a living. That mistake is about to cost him everything. If you've ever watched the powerful crush the powerless, stay with me. Irving Collins wasn't the kind of man who made noise. 64 years old, 38 years at the Postal Service. Rain, snow, heat. Never missed a day unless his daughter needed him. Retired 2 years ago with a plaque and a pension that covers rent, groceries, and not much else. Imani, his wife, spent 32 years as a librarian at Bronzeville Elementary, the kind of librarian kids remember decades later. Soft voice, patient hands. She taught 3 generations how to love books. They moved into apartment 3C in 2002. 2 bedrooms, kitchen window facing east. Morning light is perfect for Imani's plants. Rent started at $8.50 a month. Now it's $11.50. They pay on time. Every month. Every year. 22 years without a single complaint from them. Not about rent, not about noise, not about anything. Their neighbors know them. Mrs. Johnson in 2B brings them soup when the weather turns. Mr. Patterson upstairs borrows Irving's tools and always returns them. The young couple in 4B asks Imani for book recommendations. When their daughter died in 2022, cancer, 36 years old, too young, Irving and Imani took in her daughter. Amara, 4 years old now, bright, curious, loves drawing on the kitchen table while Imani makes breakfast. The apartment isn't big, but it's home. Every Tuesday, Imani runs a book club in the building's common room. 6 elderly women from the block. They read mysteries mostly. Agatha Christie, Louise Penny. They drink tea and argue about whodunit. Irving fixes things. Leaking faucets, stuck windows. Mrs. Lane's radiator last winter. No charge, just neighbors helping neighbors. The building changed hands in 2018. Old landlord retired. New owner, Vincent Hayes, 48 years old. Owns 6 buildings in the South Side. Never lived in any of them. The maintenance requests started piling up after that. Slower responses, cheaper repairs. Hayes hired the cheapest contractors. Fixed what tenants could see, ignored what they couldn't. Irving noticed the shift. The way Hayes smiled at the young white couple in 4B but barely nodded at him. The way Hayes returned Mr. Patterson's calls but let Irving's go to voicemail. Small things, easy to dismiss as coincidence. But they accumulated. Hayes never learned their names, called Irving Buddy or Chief, called Imani Ma'am in a tone that wasn't respectful, like he was doing them a favor by letting them stay. Irving kept his head down, paid rent, didn't make waves. Their bank statements tell the story Hayes never bothered to check. Account number ending in 2847. Wells Fargo. 264 consecutive payments. First of every month. Check number, amount, date. $1,150. On time. Every time. Not once late. Not once short. Not once skipped. Perfect tenants. The kind landlords dream about. But Hayes didn't see that. Didn't care to look. Their son Isaac called every Sunday. 36 years old, sharp, driven. Made his parents proud in ways they didn't talk about much. Graduated law school. Worked as a public defender, then prosecutor. Recently took a new position downtown. Something important. Something that kept him busy. "Can't visit this week, Dad," he'd say. "Big caseload." Irving understood. His son had worked too hard to slow down now. Irving had a gift. Could smell things before they became problems. Gas leaks, electrical burning, that specific chemical tang of refrigerant. Saved the building twice over the years. Once in 2009, once in 2016. Just walked down to the basement, sniffed, told the old landlord something was wrong. Both times he was right. Imani used to joke about it. My husband, the bloodhound. February 4th, 6:15 in the morning. Irving woke to a smell he recognized, metallic, faint, wrong. He sat up in bed, listened. The furnace clanked below. Normal sound. But the smell wasn't. Imani still slept. He didn't wake her. Not yet. He walked to the kitchen. The smell is stronger there. Not gas. Not burning wires. Something else. Something worse. He checked the carbon monoxide detector on the wall. Green light. Battery fine. But his nose said differently. Sometimes machines lie. Noses don't. Irving kept a portable CO meter in the hall closet, left over from Postal Service safety training. He pulled it out, turned it on. The screen flickered. Numbers climbed. 42, 51, 63, 78, 87 parts per million. Anything over 50 is dangerous. Over 70, lethal for children. The detector on the wall still showed green, still lied. 6:22 a.m. Irving took a photo. Screen clear. Numbers are sharp. Red warning light. Timestamp visible. Then he moved. Apartment 2B. The Johnsons. 3 kids. Ages 7, 5, 2. He knocked. Hard. Urgent. Mrs. Johnson opened the door, half asleep. "Mr. Collins? It's 6. Get your kids. Get out. Carbon monoxide. 87 parts per million." She didn't argue. Just ran. Irving hit the next door. Mr. Patterson, the elderly couple downstairs. Same message, same urgency. By 6:35, 9 people stood in the lobby. Cold, scared. Some in pajamas. Mrs. Johnson's 2-year-old crying against her shoulder. Irving dialed 911. Carbon monoxide leak. 847 East Oakwood Boulevard. 3 children. Level 87. Sir, stay calm. I am calm, they're not. Send the fire department now. The operator kept him on the line, asked questions. Irving answered. Even. Controlled. Mrs. Johnson's oldest said his head hurt. Had hurt all night. The 5-year-old threw up in the lobby. Clear liquid. Empty stomach. Fire trucks arrived at 6:48. 3 engines. Paramedics. Firefighters in gear. They tested. Confirmed. 87 in the hallway. 72 near 2B. 94 by the furnace. The fire captain looked at Irving. You called? Yes, sir. How'd you know? The detector says safe. Smelled something wrong. Checked with my meter. The captain nodded. Slow. Respectful. You saved lives today. Another 2 hours, those kids would have been gone. Paramedics checked the children. Mild poisoning. Headache. Nausea. It would have been fatal by noon. Mrs. Johnson hugged Irving, tight, shaking. You saved my babies. By 8 a.m., the furnace was red-tagged. The building was evacuated. Hayes showed up at 9:30. Didn't ask if anyone was hurt. Asked how much repairs would cost. He stood in the lobby, jaw tight, eyes cold. Irving was still there, waiting for Imani. Hayes turned, saw him. You called the city? Not thank you. Not everyone is okay. Just accusation. I called 911, Irving said. 3 children were being poisoned. You should have called me first. Sir, there wasn't time. There's always time. Hayes stepped closer, voice low, cold. You made this public. Fire trucks, paramedics, neighbors watching. Made me look negligent. The furnace is leaking poison. That's not... I don't care about your excuses. Hayes's smile didn't reach his eyes. You went over my head. That was a choice. Choices have consequences. He looked at Irving like something stuck to his shoe. This building has rules. You've been here long enough to know them. Maybe too long. Then he walked out, climbed into his Mercedes, drove away without looking back. Imani touched Irving's arm. What did he mean? Irving watched the Mercedes disappear around the corner. I don't know, but something in Hayes's voice, something in that smile. Irving had heard threats before. This was different. This was a promise. 2 days later, a man with a clipboard shows up. February 6th, 2 p.m. Inspector Bradley Moore, Chicago Department of Buildings. Badge number 2831, 49 years old. Drives a Lexus that shouldn't fit his salary. Hayes meets him at the door. Not like a landlord meeting an inspector. Like old friends. They shake hands. Hayes grins. Moore grins back. Irving watches from the lobby. Imani beside him. So do the Johnsons. Mr. Patterson. 6 other tenants who stayed nearby after the evacuation order lifted that morning. The city cleared them to return. Temporarily. Pending full inspection. Moore carries a testing kit. Silver case. Official looking. He doesn't open it in the lobby. Hayes leads him downstairs to the furnace room. The door closes behind them. 18 minutes pass. Irving checks his watch. A proper inspection takes 45 to 60 minutes, minimum. He knows because he looked it up last night. Read the city protocols. Section 1319653 of the Municipal Code. Testing requirements. Documentation standards. Safety thresholds. 18 minutes isn't enough. The door opens. Moore and Hayes walk out, still talking. Low voices. Hayes gestures toward the lobby, toward Irving. Moore glances up. Make eye contact. Looks away fast. They climb the stairs. Moore doesn't test any apartments. Don't check CO levels on different floors. Doesn't verify the furnace repair logs. Just walk through. Clipboard under his arm. Pen in pocket. Unused. At 2:30, Moore stops in the lobby. Clears his throat. The furnace has been repaired. Building passes inspection. No violations found. Irving steps forward. Sir, did you test CO levels in each unit? Moore's jaw tightens. I don't need to explain my process to you. I'm just asking if... Hayes cuts in. Loud. Intentional. Mr. Collins. He emphasizes the name. Makes it sound formal. Distant. Let the professional do his job, unless you think you know better than a city inspector. The other tenants watch. Mrs. Johnson, Mr. Patterson, the young couple from 4B. Irving keeps his voice even. I just want to make sure everyone's safe. You've done enough. Hayes steps closer, invades space. Calling 911, making a scene. Now questioning official inspections? You need to mind your business, old man. Old man, said like an insult. Irving is 64, Hayes maybe 48. But the age gap isn't what Hayes means. Moore shifts his weight, checks his phone, nervous. I've completed my assessment, Moore says. The building is compliant. He leaves, fast. Doesn't hand out paperwork. Doesn't answer questions. Hayes watches him go, then turns back to Irving. You got a problem with how I run my property? No, sir, I just... Because you've been here a long time. 22 years, right? Hayes smiles, cold. Long time for someone like you to stay in one place? Most people? They appreciate what they have. Don't cause trouble. Someone like you. Imani's hand finds Irving's. Squeezes. Warning. Let it go. Irving lets it go. Hayes walks out. The lobby goes quiet. Mrs. Johnson speaks first. That wasn't right. Mr. Patterson nods. 18 minutes. I timed it. But no one says more. Everyone returns to their apartments. Later that afternoon, Hayes posts a notice in the lobby, printed on city letterhead, official seal in the corner. Inspection certificate, passed Chicago Department of Buildings. Inspector B. Moore, badge number 2831. Date, February 6, 2024. Property, 847E. Oakwood Blow-Vide. Furnace. Compliant. Carbon monoxide. Safe violations. Found, none. The signature is illegible. A scrawl. The red stamp looks real enough. Irving photographs it with his phone. The whole notice. Clear. Every word. That night, Imani sits at the kitchen table, staring at nothing. Something's wrong, she says. I know. That man didn't inspect anything. He barely looked. I know. And Hayes, the way he talked to you, in front of everyone. Irving doesn't answer. Doesn't need to. 22 years in this building. Never been spoken to like that. Not once. Not by the old landlord, not by maintenance, not by anyone. Until now. Imani's voice drops. What do we do? Nothing. We keep our heads down. Pay rent. Stay quiet. After he humiliated you? After he humiliated me. Irving looks at his hands. Steady, weathered. 64 years of work. We can't afford to fight. Not with him. Not with the city. We just survive. But surviving feels different now. Feels smaller. The phone rings. Imani answers. It's Mrs. Johnson, voice shaking. Mr. Collins, my kids are coughing again. The smell is back. Irving closes his eyes. The furnace wasn't fixed. Moore lied. Hayes paid him to lie. Keep your windows cracked, Irving says. Even in the cold. I'll figure something out. He hangs up, looks at Imani. We need to call Isaac. Imani shakes her head. He's busy. That new job downtown. I don't care how busy he is. Irving's voice is quiet, firm. Our neighbor's kids are breathing poison. The inspector lied. Hayes threatened me in public. We need help. What's Isaac going to do? He's a lawyer, not... He'll know someone. Someone who can make them listen. Irving doesn't call that night. Can't bring himself to. His son worked too hard to get where he is. Irving won't pull him into this mess. Not yet. The smell returns overnight. Faint. Metallic. Wrong. Irving's meter reads 43 parts per million by morning. Not lethal. Not yet. But climbing. The certificate on the lobby wall still says, safe. Still lies. February 15th, 8 p.m. A knock on the door. Irving opens it. Not Hayes. A process server. Young white man. Neutral expression. Clipboard. Manila envelope. Irving Collins? Yes. You've been served. The envelope weighs nothing. 3 pages inside. Irving closes the door. Opens the envelope with hands that don't shake yet. Notice to vacate. He reads it once. Twice. The words don't change. Tenant. Irving and Imani Collins. Unit 3C. Landlord. Vincent Hayes. Hayes Property Management, LLC. Violation. Unauthorized occupant residing in unit without landlord approval, in violation of lease agreement, section 4.2. Unauthorized occupant. Minor child, female, approximately 4 years of age. Deadline to vacate, February 20th, 2024. 5 days from service. Failure to comply. will result in forcible eviction proceedings and associated legal costs. Imani reads over his shoulder, goes still. Amara. They're saying Amara can't live here? Irving flips to the second page. The lease agreement excerpt. Section 4.2. Guests and occupancy. Tenants may host guests for up to 14 consecutive days. Any person residing in the unit beyond this period requires written approval from the landlord. He remembers when Amara moved in. July 2022, after their daughter's funeral. They'd told Hayes, face to face, in the lobby. Hayes had shrugged. Sure, whatever, just keep paying rent. No written approval, no formal process, just verbal okay. 2.5 years ago, never an issue, never a complaint, never mentioned again, until now. Imani's voice shakes. He approved it. You told him. He said yes. Verbal approval doesn't count, not legally. But he never said we needed written. He didn't have to. It's in the lease. We signed it. The third page lists next steps. Warnings, consequences, legal language designed to intimidate, 5 days to vacate. No chance to cure the violation, no grace period, just out. Irving walks to Amara's room, opens the door quietly. She's asleep, clutching her stuffed rabbit, 4 years old. Doesn't know her grandparents just got evicted because she exists. He closes the door. Imani sits at the kitchen table, staring at the notice. This is because you called 911, because you questioned the inspection. Irving doesn't answer. Doesn't need to. What do we do? Pack. Find somewhere to go. In 5 days with a 4-year-old? Imani's voice rises, cracks. In February? It's negative 18 degrees outside Irving. The forecast says it's dropping to negative 28 this weekend. Polar vortex. The news has been warning about it for days. Life-threatening cold. Frostbite in 10 minutes. Hypothermia in 30. 5 days to find a new apartment. First month, last month. Security deposit. Background check. References. Time they don't have. Money stretched thin already. Irving tries Hayes's number. Voicemail. Doesn't leave a message. Tries again. Voicemail again. Sends a text. Mr. Hayes, can we discuss the notice? We've been good tenants for 22 years. No response. He sits beside Imani, the notice between them. 3 pages that weigh more than they should. We should call Isaac, Imani says. He can't help with this. He's a prosecutor, not... He's our son, and we're out of options. Irving looks at his phone. Isaac's contact photo, graduation day, law school, proud smile, everything they worked for. He doesn't want to burden him, doesn't want his son to see him like this. Powerless. Evicted like someone who didn't pay rent, didn't follow rules, didn't matter. But Imani's right. They're out of options. He calls. 3 rings. 4. Voicemail. Isaac, it's your father. Call me when you can. It's important. He hangs up. Waits. The apartment feels different now. Smaller. Less like home. More like borrowed time. 22 years, 264 rent checks. Never late, never short, never a problem. Until Irving saved 3 children. Until he made Vincent Hayes look bad. Now they have 5 days. Isaac calls back at 11 p.m. Irving's phone vibrates. He picks up on the first ring. Dad, you okay? We're fine, we just... Irving stops. Doesn't know where to start. What happened? We got an eviction notice. 5 days. Hayes says Amara's an unauthorized occupant. Silence on the other end. Then Isaac's voice changes, goes calm, controlled, professional. Send me everything. The notice, your lease, Bank statements, every email with Hayes, every text. Can you do that? Yes, but Isaac, I don't want to pull you into... Dad, firm, final. Send everything, tonight. Irving hears something in his son's voice, something that wasn't there before. What's your new job, Isaac? Downtown? You never said exactly. Another pause. Longer this time. I'm a judge, Dad. Circuit Court, Cook County. Been on the bench 8 months now. The words don't land right away. Irving processes them slowly. Judge. His son. Isaac. You didn't tell us. Wanted to. Kept meaning to. Got busy. The swearing in was last June. You and Mom had that cruise planned. Didn't want to interrupt. Irving remembers. The Alaskan cruise. Imani's dream trip. They'd saved for 3 years. You should have told us. I know. I'm sorry. Isaac's voice softens, then hardens again. But Dad, Hayes just made the worst mistake of his life. Send me those documents, all of them. I'm making some calls. Irving sends everything. Scanned pages, photos, bank statements going back 5 years. Isaac works fast. By morning, he's forwarded everything to contacts. Housing attorney, tenant advocacy groups, people Irving's never heard of. Naomi Price calls at 9 a.m., legal aid lawyer, 38 years old, sharp voice, no nonsense. Mr. Collins, Isaac sent me your case. This eviction is retaliatory. Textbook. The problem is proving the inspection was fraudulent. It was 18 minutes. He didn't test anything. I believe you. But we need independent verification. And we need it fast. Your deadline is in 4 days. Isaac arranged that too. By noon, Dr. Elena Rodriguez arrives. Environmental engineer, 44 years old, independent contractor, brought her own testing equipment. She spends 2 hours in the building, tests every unit, takes readings, documents everything. Irving watches her work. Methodical. Thorough. Everything more wasn't. She finishes at 2 p.m., pulls out her tablet, shows Irving the results. Unit 2A, furnace room, 72 parts per million, still in the lethal zone. The inspector said it was safe. The inspector lied. Elena's voice is flat, professional. Unit 2B, where the children live, 38 parts per million, unsafe for long-term exposure, especially kids. She hands him a printed report. Official letterhead. Her credentials are listed at the top. Ph.D. in Environmental Engineering, University of Illinois. 15 years of forensic work. The furnace hasn't been repaired, not properly. Moore's certification is false. Irving takes the report. Proof, real proof. What does this cost? Already paid. Isaac covered it. That afternoon, a man named Jamal Washington shows up. 52 years old. Bronzeville Housing Rights Coalition. Community organizer. Heard about the case through Mrs. Johnson. Your story's not unique, Jamal says. Hayes has a pattern. We've been tracking him for 2 years. 6 buildings, 23 units. Complaints piling up. Nothing sticks because the inspections always come back clean. He pulls out a folder. Thick. Printed complaints. Tenant statements. Photos of violations. You're the first one who called 911. Made it public. Now we can use that. Jamal brings resources. Tenant union lawyer. Media contacts. People are ready to fight. But he also brings a warning. Hayes doesn't lose quietly. He's got money. Got connections. You push him, he'll push back harder. Irving already knows that. Felt it in the lobby. Heard it in Hayes's voice. The bank statements tell their own story. Account ending in 2847. Wells Fargo. Transaction history going back to 2002. Every first of the month. Same amount. $1,150 now. Started at $850. Increased gradually. Normal inflation. Check numbers in sequence. No gaps, no skipped months, no late payments, 264 consecutive transactions, 22 years of perfect payments. Isaac highlights this in his notes. Send it to Naomi, to Jamal, to everyone building the case. Perfect tenants, Naomi says. Impossible to argue otherwise. February 18th, 3 days before the eviction deadline. A woman approaches Irving outside the building. Late 30s, professional, federal ID clipped to her belt. Mr. Collins? I'm Sarah Mitchell, FBI, Chicago Field Office, Housing Fraud Division. Irving goes still. I'm not in trouble? No, sir. Opposite. We've been investigating Vincent Hayes for 14 months. Patterns of tenant harassment, unsafe buildings, targeting low-income families, mostly Black and Latino. She gestures toward her car. Can we talk? They sit in the FBI vehicle, warm, quiet, recording equipment visible but not running. We need concrete evidence, Mitchell says. Bribery, corruption, something that moves this from civil to criminal. Do you have any proof Hayes paid off the inspector? No, just suspicion. Suspicion's a start. But we need paper trails, money transfers, communications, something solid. She hands him a card, direct line, encrypted email. Anything you find, send it to me. And Mr. Collins, be careful. Hayes knows he's being watched. Makes him dangerous. That night, Irving can't sleep. Mind racing. Evidence is piling up, but the deadline is still coming. 4 days, 3 days. Time is running out. Then Jamal calls. 2 a.m. Voice was exciting. We got something. Hayes' ex-girlfriend. They broke up last month. Messy. She's pissed. Wants revenge. What does she have? Venmo history. Hayes is stupid. Used Venmo to pay off more. She screenshotted everything before he blocked her. Jamal emails the file. Irving opens it on his phone, squints at the small text. Vincent Hayes paid Bradley Moore. Date, February 5th, 2024. Amount, $3,200. Note, consultation fee, February 5th. 1 day before Moore's inspection. 1 day before the building got certified safe. Consultation fee. For what? 18 minutes of fake work? Irving forwards it to Isaac, to Mitchell, to everyone. Mitchell calls within an hour. Mr. Collins, this is it. This is federal bribery. I'm bringing this to my supervisor in the morning. We're moving forward. Isaac pulls public records, cross-references building violations. Vincent Hayes, 6 properties, 23 total units, all in Southside Chicago, all in predominantly Black neighborhoods. 5 years of tenant complaints, 156 total. Heat failures, water leaks, mold, electrical hazards, carbon monoxide, rodent infestations. Every single inspection. Assigned to Bradley Moore. Every single result. Passed. No violations. 156 complaints. 0 violations. Statistical impossibility. Average pass rate for Chicago building inspectors, 67%. Moore's pass rate for Hayes' properties, 100%. Isaac creates a spreadsheet, color-coded, maps each property, shows the pattern. Naomi reviews it. This isn't one bad inspection. This is systemic corruption. Jamal organizes tenant testimonies, video recordings, 4 families willing to speak on camera. Mrs. Johnson, apartment 2B. Irving knocked on my door at 6 in the morning. My babies were sleeping. He said, get them out now. He saved their lives. Mr. Patterson, 3A. Known Irving for 20 years. Man pays his rent, keeps to himself, fixes things for free. That granddaughter? Been here 2 years. Hayes never said a word until Irving made him look bad. Ms. Lane. First floor, voice shaking. Hayes threatened me last year when I complained about mold, said he'd evict me for making trouble. I shut up. Wish I hadn't. Young couple. 4B. We saw that inspection. Guy was here for 18 minutes. Didn't even open his testing kit. We knew something was wrong, but what could we do? The evidence stacks, each piece building on the last. Bank records, CO test results, neighbor testimonies, Venmo payment, violation pattern. All of it pointing one direction. Hayes didn't just evict Irving out of spite. He evicted Irving to cover up a criminal enterprise. February 19th, 2 days before eviction. Isaac texts, FBI got wiretap warrant. They're listening to Hayes now. Don't call him. Don't contact him. Let him make the next move. Irving shows Imani the message. What does that mean? Means they're waiting for him to incriminate himself. And if he doesn't, Irving doesn't answer. Outside, the temperature drops. -12. The forecast says -28 by Friday. The coldest night of the year, right when they're supposed to be out. February 20th, 1 day before eviction. A courier delivers a letter to Irving's door. Law firm letterhead, downtown address. Expensive paper. Caldwell and Associates attorneys at Law Irving opens it. 3 pages. Legal language. Threats wrapped in professional courtesy. Cease and desist. His name at the top. Imani's below. Both listed as defendants in a potential lawsuit. The letter accuses them of defamation, spreading false allegations about inspection integrity, damaging Hayes' reputation, interfering with business operations, demands they retract all statements, issue public apology, stop cooperating with media or tenant advocacy groups, failure to comply, civil suit, $500,000 in damages. The signature at the bottom, Richard Caldwell, senior partner. Imani reads it over his shoulder, hands trembling. They're suing us? For telling the truth? They're threatening to sue, different thing. What's the difference if we can't afford a lawyer? Irving has no answer to that. He forwards the letter to Naomi, to Isaac, to Mitchell. Naomi calls within minutes. Standard intimidation tactic. They won't actually file. It's designed to scare you into silence. It's working. Don't let it. We have evidence. They have bluster. Keep going. But the letter sits on the table. Reminder of how much power Hayes has, how little they do. That afternoon, worse news. Bradley Moore files a complaint with the Chicago Department of Buildings, claims Irving is harassing him, interfering with official duties, making unfounded accusations against his professional integrity, requests a restraining order. The complaint goes public, posted on the city website, available to anyone searching Moore's name. Jamal sees it first. Texts Irving. They're trying to bury you in paperwork. Don't engage. Let the lawyers handle it. But the damage spreads. February 21st, eviction day. A local blog runs a story. Southside Real Estate News. Known mouthpiece for landlord interests. Tenant launches harassment campaign against property owner. The article paints Hayes as the victim, responsible landlord trying to manage his properties. Irving is portrayed as a disgruntled tenant with a grudge. Eviction described as justified response to lease violations. The inspection? Fully legitimate. Certified by the city. Irving's complaints? Baseless conspiracy theories from someone facing consequences for their actions. The comments section fills fast. Some are clearly fake. Generic names. Similar writing styles. These people always cry racism when they don't get their way. Landlords have rights too. Pay your rent and follow the rules. If the city inspector says it's safe, it's safe. Stop wasting everyone's time. These people. Said like a category, like something less than human. Imani sees the article on her phone, reads it twice, starts crying. They're destroying your name, making you sound like... She can't finish, doesn't need to. Irving takes the phone, reads the comments, each one a small cut. 22 years in this neighborhood, known by everyone, respected, trusted. Now this. Jamal tries to counter it. Posts Elena's CO test results on social media. Shares Mrs. Johnson's testimony video. Uses hashtags. #justice4. Irving trends locally for a few hours. But Hayes has a bigger reach. More money. Better connections. His version spreads faster. By evening, 3 neighbors who'd agreed to testify change their minds. Mr. Patterson calls, voice apologetic. Irving, I got 3 kids. I'm in one of Hayes's buildings too. If he evicts me... Ms. Lane doesn't call, just deletes her video testimony. Blocks Jamal's number. Only Mrs. Johnson stands firm. He saved my babies. I'm not backing down. But one witness isn't enough. The stress accumulates. Physical. Tangible. Irving wakes at 3 a.m., chest tight, left arm numb, cold sweat. Imani finds him on the bathroom floor, not unconscious, just stopped, sitting, staring. Irving? He doesn't respond right away. Can't seem to form words. She calls 911. Second time in 3 weeks. Different emergencies. The ambulance arrives. Paramedics check vitals. Blood pressure 180/110. Pulse erratic. EKG shows abnormalities. They take him to the University of Chicago Medical Center. Emergency room. Fluorescent lights. Antiseptic smell. Machines beeping. The doctor is young, 30-something. Explained in careful terms. Transient ischemic attack. Mini-stroke. Stress-induced. Warning sign of bigger problems coming. Mr. Collins, your body is shutting down. You need to reduce stress immediately. Irving almost laughs. Bitter. Exhausted. Sure, I'll get right on that. I'm serious. Another event like this could be fatal. I'm being evicted tomorrow, in negative 28-degree weather, with my wife and 4-year-old granddaughter. How exactly do I reduce stress? The doctor has no answer. Just prescribed blood pressure medication. Recommends bed rest. Tells him to avoid stressful situations. Like that's possible. Isaac drives down from his courthouse, still wearing his robe, sits beside his father's hospital bed. Dad, if this is too much, we can stop. Find you a new place. Move you somewhere safe. Irving's voice is weak but firm. No, we will finish this. It's not worth your life. It's not about me anymore. Irving looks at his son. It's about those kids in 2B. It's about every tenant Hayes has threatened. It's about more lying for money while families breathe poison. We stop now? Nothing changes. He wins. They all win. Isaac doesn't argue, just holds his father's hand. That night, Irving stays in the hospital, monitored, medicated. Imani sits in their apartment, half-packed boxes around her. Amara is asleep in the next room. She tries Hayes's number one more time. Last attempt at human decency. Voicemail. She leaves a message, voice steady despite everything. Mr. Hayes, my husband is in the hospital. He had a stroke. The stress from this eviction. We've been good tenants for 22 years, please. We just need a little more time. She hangs up. Waits. No response. Outside, the temperature drops. Negative 26. Still falling. The coldest night of the year. And tomorrow, they're supposed to be out. February 22nd. Morning. The hospital releases Irving with instructions he can't follow. Bed rest. No stress. Medication twice daily. He comes home to boxes. Imani spent the night packing. 22 years compressed into cardboard. Each item wrapped. Each memory folded away. The books from her library career. 40 years of collecting. Children's classics. Poetry. History. Too many to move. She chooses 20, leaves the rest. Amara's toys. Stuffed animals, drawing supplies. The kitchen table where she colors every morning, too big to take. Wedding photos from 1988, younger faces, same love, same promise to protect each other. Irving's Postal Service Award, Employee of the Year 2015, 35 years of service, never late, never complained. Imani holds it, stares at the gold lettering, puts it in a box without looking again. The tape gun makes a sound. Shk, shk. Ceiling things closed. Outside, the wind doesn't stop. Weather alert on every phone. Polar vortex, peak intensity, -28 degrees. Wind chill, -39. Frostbite in 5 minutes. Hypothermia at 15. Death possible in 30. The city opens warming shelters, churches, community centers, for people with nowhere to go. People like them now. Amara wanders into the living room, 4 years old, sees the boxes, doesn't understand. "Grandma, why are you packing?" Imani tries to smile, can't quite manage it. "We're going on a trip, baby." "Where?" The question hangs. Imani doesn't have an answer. "I don't know yet." Amara's face crumbles. "I don't want to go. This is my home." She starts crying. Not loud. Quiet. The worst kind. Imani sits on the floor. Boxes around her, holds Amara, cries with her. Irving watches from the bedroom doorway. Weak. Leaning against the frame. Can't help. Can't fix this. He remembers July 2022. Their daughter's funeral. Cancer. 36 years old. Too young. Too fast. Afterward, Amara wouldn't speak for 3 days. Just held her stuffed rabbit. Silent. Irving knelt beside her. Made a promise. "You're safe here, sweetheart. With Grandma and Grandpa. Always." 2.5 years ago. Now that promise is broken. Afternoon comes. Goes. The apartment grows colder. The radiator can't keep up. The furnace is still leaking, still broken, still certified safe by a man who lied. Imani makes sandwiches. Nobody eats. She tries calling Isaac, Naomi, Jamal, anyone. Isaac's in court. Can't be reached. Naomi's filing emergency motions, working from every angle. Jamal's organizing, calling the media, making noise. But noise doesn't stop eviction day. Evening. The sun sets early, 4:30 and dark. Irving and Imani sit at the kitchen table. Can't look at each other. Can't look away. "Maybe," Imani says, voice barely there. "Maybe we should just go. Find somewhere else. Start over." Irving stares at his hands. 64 years old. Every year visible in the lines, the scars, the wear. "Yeah," he whispers. "Maybe." Imani's head snaps up. "You mean it?" "I'm tired, Imani. My heart can't take more. And I can't watch you hurt like this. 22 years. Her voice breaks. "We don't even get to say goodbye, right?" Isaac's doing everything he can, but Hayes has money, lawyers. The system protects people like him. Do people like us? We just survive it, if we're lucky. So we just lose? Irving closes his eyes. "I don't know." The wind howls. -28 outside, going lower. Inside. 2 people, 64 and 61, feeling every year, every defeat, every time they smiled and stayed quiet, every time someone like Hayes looked through them. This apartment, small, worn, but theirs, the place their daughter grew up, the place their granddaughter felt safe. Now, just boxes. Amara calls from her room. "Grandma, can you read me a story?" Imani wipes her eyes, stands, goes to her granddaughter. Irving sits alone. The eviction notice is still on the table. 3 pages that changed everything. His phone buzzes. Text from Isaac. Dad, don't give up. FBI wire went active today. They're listening. Just need Hayes to make one mistake. Irving reads it twice. Wants to believe. But belief requires hope. And hope ran out somewhere between the hospital and the boxes. Sometimes hope comes from places you don't expect. A church basement, a tenant meeting, an FBI van parked 3 blocks away, and a man who doesn't know he's being recorded. I know this feels hopeless. Irving thought so too. But stay with me, because the people Hayes underestimated, they were about to prove him wrong. February 23rd. The eviction deadline passed, but Naomi's emergency motion bought 48 hours, temporary stay, just enough time. Jamal moves fast, organizes a community meeting at Bronzeville Community Church, 7 p.m., basement level, folding chairs, bad coffee, good people. 32 neighbors show up, not just from Irving's building, from Hayes's other properties too, people who stayed quiet for years, people who finally have a reason to speak. Mrs. Johnson stands at the front. 3 kids at home with her husband. She came anyway. Irving Collins saved my children, knocked on my door at 6 in the morning, got my babies out before the carbon monoxide killed them. Her voice shakes, steadies. Now, Hayes is throwing him into the street for doing the right thing. That's not justice, that's revenge. Applause, real applause, people who understand. Pastor Williams offers the church as temporary housing if needed. Other neighbors offer money. Not much. $20 here, $50 there. Someone passes a collection plate. $2,400 raised in 90 minutes. Won't cover much. But it's something. It's people saying we see you. Imani attends alone. Irving is too weak. Doctor's orders. She watches the collection plate pass. Watch strangers give what they can't afford to lose. For the first time in weeks, she doesn't feel alone. February 24th. Small protest outside Hayes Property Management. 15 people. Brutal cold limits turnout. But they stand anyway. Hold signs. Make noise. Slumlords eels criminals. Fix the leak, save the kids. Justice for Irving Collins, NBC Chicago sends a crew. 90 seconds on the evening news. Not much, but visible. Hayes watches from his office window. Doesn't come down. That night he makes a call. He doesn't know the FBI is listening. Wiretap warrant active since February 20th. Every call logged. Every word recorded. Hayes dials Jamal Washington directly. Tenant organizer. Protest leader. Man who made him look bad on television. The recording is clear. FBI audio quality. Every syllable is preserved. Hayes speaks first. Voice low, controlled, threatening. Mr. Washington, this is Vincent Hayes. I know who you are. You organized a protest outside my office. That's right. Slumlords should answer for... Let me be very clear. Hayes cuts him off. I'll bury anyone who calls the city on me. I'll bury anyone who helps them. And I'll bury anyone who thinks they can embarrass me in public. Is that a threat? It's a promise. Irving Collins? He's done. You keep this up, you're next. Pause. Then Hayes's voice drops lower, colder. Ask Collins how his hospital stay was. Stress is a killer, Mr. Washington. Be a shame if you ended up the same way. Click. Call ends. Agent Mitchell sits in the FBI van, headphones on, recording complete. She pulls out her phone, texts her supervisor. Got him. Witness intimidation. Threat to cause harm. Moving to the grand jury. Then she texts Isaac. Judge Collins, we have what we need. Your father's going to win this. 3 words. Clear, cold, recorded. I'll bury anyone. But the only one getting buried now is Vincent Hayes, February 25th, 6:15 a.m. Bradley Moore wakes to a knock. Not gentle, not patient. The kind of knock that doesn't stop. He opens the door in his bathrobe. 2 people on his porch. Professional. Federal IDs visible. Agent Sarah Mitchell. Her partner. Both with badges out. "Mr. Moore, FBI, we need you to come with us." Moore's face goes white. "What's this about?" "Vincent Hayes, carbon monoxide, and $3,200 you really shouldn't have taken." His hands start shaking. "I want a lawyer." "Smart. You're going to need one." They drive him to the FBI field office. Downtown, gray building, fluorescent lights, interview room with no windows. Moore sits across from Mitchell and Assistant U.S. Attorney Jennifer Walsh. His public defender beside him. File folders stacked on the table. Walsh opens the first folder. Venmo screenshot, highlighted, dated February 5th. Consultation fee, $3,200 from Vincent Hayes, 1 day before you certified his building safe. Moore says nothing. Walsh opens the second folder. Elena Rodriguez's report. CO levels were still lethal 19 days after Moore's inspection. You certified 72 parts per million as safe. Children live in that building, Mr. Moore. Still nothing. Third folder. Thicker. 5 years of building records. Hayes's 6 properties. 23 units. 156 complaints. Every single inspection assigned to you, every single result passed. 100% pass rate. For a landlord with 156 complaints. Moore's lawyer leans in, whispers something. Moore shakes his head. Walsh lays out the charges. Voice flat. Clinical. Bribery. Federal crime. Up to 10 years. Falsifying government documents. Up to 5 years. Conspiracy to defraud. Up to 5 years. Reckless endangerment. Multiple counts. She pauses. Lets the numbers land. Total exposure, 15 to 20 years federal prison. You're 49, Mr. Moore. That's the rest of your useful life. Moore's breathing changes, faster, shallow. What do you want? Everything. Every payment Hayes made, every fake inspection, every conversation, names, dates, amounts. And if I cooperate? Single count of bribery. Recommendation, 18 months. Eligible for halfway house after 9. You keep your freedom, lose your pension. But you walk away. Moore looks at his lawyer. The lawyer nods slowly. Silence. 10 seconds. 20. I'll tell you everything. March 2nd. Grand jury hearing. Federal courthouse. Moore under oath. He talks for 3 hours. No breaks. Started in 2019. First payment, $1,200. Building on 63rd Street. Boiler violation. Hayes needed it gone fast. Moore made it disappear. After that, regular payments. Cash at first. Careful. Then Venmo. Careless. Hayes got comfortable. 5 years. 38 separate payments. $47,000 total. 6 buildings. 23 units. Violations ignored. Carbon monoxide leaks, 3 incidents. Mold, 12. Electrical hazards, 8. Rodent infestations, 15. Heat failures, 22. Worst case, 2021. Exposed asbestos in a Hayes property. Moore certified it safe anyway. Family of 4 moved in. 2 children developed respiratory problems within 6 months. I needed the money. Moore's voice breaks. My wife's medical bills. My son's college. I convinced myself it wasn't hurting anyone. As Walsh doesn't blink. 3 children almost died from carbon monoxide on February 4th. You certified that building safe on February 6th. Was that hurting anyone? Moore is crying now. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. The grand jury deliberates for 20 minutes. True bill. Indictment. Vincent Hayes, 23 counts. Bribery. Fraud. Witness intimidation. 12 counts of reckless endangerment, one for each family put at risk. Agent Mitchell calls Isaac that night. Judge Collins, it's done. Hayes will be arrested within 48 hours. Your parents are going home. Isaac hangs up, drives to the hospital where Irving still rests, walks into the room. Imani is asleep in the chair beside the bed. Irving awake, staring at the ceiling. Dad. Irving turns, sees his son's face. It's over. Hayes is finished. The eviction is dead. You're going home. Irving closes his eyes. Something releases in his chest. Not relief. Not yet. But something close. March 5th, 9 a.m., Federal District Court, Northern District of Illinois. The courtroom fills early. Tenants from Hayes's buildings, journalists, community members, Mrs. Johnson in the front row, Jamal Washington beside her. And in the back, two men sit together. One wears a hospital bracelet under his sleeve, 64 years old, tired, but present. The other wears a judicial robe, 36 years old. Here, not as counsel, not as a family. As a judge observing justice delivered. Irving and Isaac Collins, father and son. Vincent Hayes enters at 8:55, navy suit, expensive tie, lawyer at his side, still confident, still smiling. He scans the room, sees the crowd, frowns slightly. Then he sees Irving. The smile returns. Thin, dismissive. Just an old man. Just another tenant he crushed. He doesn't look at the man beside Irving, doesn't notice the robe. Judge Diana Brennan enters. Everyone rises. Be seated. Brennan is 61, appointed 2019, known for tenant advocacy, known for not tolerating nonsense. Naomi Price presents the case. 12 minutes. Every receipt. Every document. Every piece of evidence stacked over 3 weeks. Bank records. CO detector photos. 911 call transcript. Fake inspection certificate. Elena's independent test. Neighbor testimonies. Venmo payment. Building violation pattern. FBI wire recording. Bradley Moore's grand jury testimony. The courtroom hears it all. Hayes's lawyer tries to object. Brennan overrules every time. When Naomi finishes, she sits. Brennan looks at Hayes. Mr. Hayes, stand up. He stands, still confident, still believing money protects him. You own 6 buildings, 23 units. You've collected over $1 million in rent over 5 years. Brennan's voice is ice. And you couldn't fix a furnace that was poisoning children? Your Honor, I relied on the city inspector. The inspector you bribed? The one who just confessed to 5 years of fraud? That inspector? Hayes's mouth opens, closes. Nothing comes out. I've reviewed the FBI wire recording, Mr. Hayes. I heard you threaten a witness. I heard you say, I'll bury anyone who calls the city. I heard you reference Mr. Collins's hospitalization like it was a warning. She leans forward. You thought Irving Collins was just another old black man you could push around. Evict into the cold. Silence with lawyers and threats. Hayes's face changes. The confidence cracks. You didn't bother to ask about his family. Didn't bother to learn that his son... Brennan gestures toward the back of the courtroom. Is the Honorable Isaac Collins, Circuit Court Judge, Cook County. Hayes turns, sees Isaac, sees the robe, sees Irving beside him. The color drains from his face, complete instant. Went pale. The courtroom is silent. Every eye on Hayes. Injunction granted, Brennan continues. Eviction stayed permanently. Mr. and Mrs. Collins will return to their home. You will repair the carbon monoxide leak within 48 hours. You will pay all legal fees, and you will have no contact with any witness in this case. She picks up her gavel. I'll see you at your criminal trial, Mr. Hayes. Bang. Hayes doesn't move. Can't move. The bailiff approaches. Sir, time to go. Hayes walks out. Doesn't look back. Can't meet Irving's eyes. Can't meet anyone's eyes. Mrs. Johnson reaches across the aisle, grabs Imani's hand. You did it. You won. Irving watches Hayes disappear through the door. Doesn't smile, doesn't gloat, just breathes. 3 weeks later. Vincent Hayes. 23 federal counts. Bail set at $500,000. Trial scheduled for September. Facing 20 years. His 6 buildings? Seized pending investigation. His bank accounts? Frozen. His reputation? Gone. Bradley Moore. Guilty plea. 18 months federal prison. Pension revoked. Banned from government work for life. At sentencing, he turned to Irving in the gallery. I'm sorry, I failed you. I failed this city. Irving nodded, said nothing. Some apologies come too late to matter. The city launched an audit. All 23 Hayes units were inspected by independent engineers. 18 failed. Forced repairs totaled $340,000. New protocol implemented. Random inspector assignments. No repeat inspector for the same landlord. The Illinois State Legislature introduced a bill. Unofficial name, Irving's Law. Protects whistleblowers from retaliatory eviction. Still in committee. But moving. March 20th. Evening. Irving, Imani, and Amara sit at the kitchen table. Same apartment. Same chairs. Same window facing east. The new CO detector glows green. Safe. Finally true. Amara draws with crayons. Doesn't know how close they came to losing everything. Irving watches her. Remember the promise he made. You're safe here. Always. This time, it holds. Imani reaches across, takes his hand. We're home. Sometimes doing the right thing costs you everything. But sometimes, it costs the other guy more. If this story moved you, share it. There are more Irving Collinses out there. More families fighting landlords who think power means impunity. They need to know you're not alone. The system can change. One person, one choice, one refusal to stay silent.